Pecha Kucha 299, Batman is still laughing, so I'm re-looking at the Batman Who Laughs, considering I've looked at so much of my Batman collection. And this book is one of the newest I own and one of the most bizarre. My opinion of it's very high, but it is a very flamboyant, hotshot book. But I also, like I said last week, decided to get a Spawn Omnibus, which is the first 50 issues, Spawn Omnibus 1. It's too big to scan, so I'm talking about something else this week. But I thoroughly enjoyed reading 50 issues of Spawn. It's very much of its time. It's a 90s comic. And I'm just going to show the front and the back. And something that was interesting is a few of the issues are guest written by some very famous writers. And they clearly lean into what they're known for. And I've got to say, with no shadow of doubt in my mind, the worst issue of this 50-issue run is the one issue Frank Miller wrote. I'll say no more. So the Batman Who Laughs is based on Batman Who Laughs. I went into a comic book store, bought this blind, because I wanted a book about this blatantly cash grab idea of a Batman combined with Joker, because it seems really cool, and it is. Scott Snyder writes, Jock draws. They're a very strong team. The book itself is actually very well made. Mine is hardback covered with a dust jacket, and this is the cover underneath the cover, so to speak. I really do like Jock's art. Scottish fella. Likes to use black to create mood as well as form. I'm a fan of it. Same thing with the Hellboy art. So the premise is the biggest problem of this book. Everything else is excellent, but the whole idea of the Batman Who Laughs being a multiverse Batman interfering in Batman's world, it's ridiculous. Scott Snyder spends the entire book adding credibility to the characters to trade in exchange for the ridiculousness of the plot, which involves Bruce Wayne, Batman, finding other Bruce Waynes, people who get killed by the Batman Who Laughs, who is also Bruce Wayne. And part of the Batman Who Laughs is his epic plan to make all of Gotham insane or something. Who fucking knows? It's difficult to tell. This book hotshots like crazy. What's something really iconic and strange we could do? I know, give Batman a bunch of guns and have him start shooting people. So, like, this is maybe the 6th or 7th, double page spread of the book. We're still in the first issue of this trade paperback. Immediately after a Batman with guns is a Batman who's the Joker who breaks into Arkham and then kills the Joker. And you're just thinking, wow, this is insane. This is too much. This is great. I wonder what happens next. Guess what? Something else that's insane that's too much. And it probably isn't a good idea for the long-term viability of these characters. So I know how I just said the Joker's dead, but actually he isn't. He was hiding in the Batcave underwater for some reason. And Batman says, do it! And Alfred lets him in because he was hanging out outside. What does the Joker do in the Batcave? Well, what any self-respecting madman would do. He pulls a gun and shoots himself with the gun designed to shoot himself backwards because, that's funny. And poor Alfred, he's forced to save the Joker's life while Batman gets gassed by the Joker gas hidden in the Joker's heart. No, seriously, this is the plot. And now mainstream continuity Batman is turning into the Batman Who Laughs because that's the secret way he's going to beat the Batman Who Laughs, by being just as insane and evil as he is. Sounds legit, but Scott Snyder literally does make it work. The entire book is full of intelligent writing on the part of all characters that is then offset by the actions that you can continue to suspend your disbelief with, like Batman having a fight with Batman and stalling him by saying, I created a fighting style that never existed before. Batman would never have thought of that, said Batman. Also, there's a bit where you can clearly see Bruce Wayne not wearing the mask, shouting at the Joker. Doesn't seem to be all that bothered that the Joker now knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne. He already knows where he lives, so I guess he already knew. We're not going to stop to explain this because, stuff's going on. There's also a bit where Batman and the Joker have one of the most genuinely bonding moments they've ever had, where they make a string of distasteful jokes towards each other because, Batman's half insane at this point, and they chuckle into the night in a way that's more authentic than the way The Killing Joke ends. But I'll say no more about the plot. It's farcical at the start, it's farcical at the end. It's definitely a good book, but I wouldn't buy it until you've cleared your list of all the books you should get that are, classic and iconic. A very strange book, but yeah, I also decided to keep working on my Anne Bison picture, and this is where I was last week, and on the right where I am this week. I'm just working down the kind of image. I did the head and his right arm last week, and then I did his left arm and his legs and a bit more of the chair in the background. I'm at the point now where I don't know what I add that can be regarded as objective improvement without reference. It'll be interesting to see what I do next week. But also, I'm still plugging away at the thumbnail script for my book. And I'm not happy with how it's going, but it is going. And ultimately, I know I'm going to do a lot of revisions when I start doing the tight layouts for the actual pages. There'll be dialogue changes. There have to be actual costume decisions made. I also need to do some reference building for the world and the places where all of these activities take place. But, eventually this is going to take me to that point that I need to be where I have a book in my hand that I can say that I made and I paid to get printed. And then I have to decide if I'm going to keep being a hobbyist or if I'm going to pull the trigger and try and legitimately, aggressively be a career comic book maker, for the lack of a better term. And I'm still tweaking away with this 7-page Smiley show of mine. I don't have a legitimate method of making shouting speech bubbles, and I'm kind of trying to use an automated thing on this page where the shape of the bubbles is edited by the vector command, protocol powers of my computer device, Clip Studio Paint, right? And I would say the results are not satisfactory. And that's kind of where I am this week with that. I'm going to keep ducking and diving between the pages, tightening things up until I get to the point where if something needs an overhaul, I make the decision to do it. And eventually I'll run out of things to do on every page. And then I'll stop, and then this will be done, and then I do another one. All while I'm, actually focusing on something else. So, the Pecha Kucha, my slideshow that makes me do things that I didn't mean to do because I kind of have to say I did them, continues to serve its purpose. I'm sure you're not listening at this point, but by God, I'm glad I'm still talking. So, almost 300 in, I'll see you for another 300. So that's the end of Pecha Kucha 299, and I'll see you next time.